Hey family, welcome to Love Samantha Lee, the More Than Just Pretty podcast. Whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite platform, I'm so glad you're here. We keep it real about love, faith, and life. Are you ready? Let's get into it. What's up, family? It's your girl Samantha Lee, and y'all, I'm here with another episode of the More Than Just Pretty podcast. Okay, like exciting. Okay, I don't even know how many I've done on the YouTube space, but it has been a journey, y'all. I don't think I've ever been this transparent about anything on any channel. I'm relatively, if you guys know me, I'm relatively private. I'm not one of those people that's going to tell all my business and do just it's just not me. But this is the most transparent I've been. I believe God has called me to do that during this wilderness season. There's been things that I've learned. And for those of you guys who don't know what a wilderness season is, it's where God takes you away from everything that are what I could call crutches or distractions. He takes you away from those things and he isolates you and he puts you in an unfamiliar place, whether that's metaphorically speaking or physically speaking, so that you learn how to depend on him, so that you learn how to hear his voice and discern what is and what is not him. Why? Because he's going to take you to the next level. The number one sign that God is preparing you for more is a wilderness season. Wilderness seasons are not fun. In and of themselves, they're not fun. They don't start out as fun. There is a lot of breaking. There is a lot of revealing, but it's not meant to just completely take you off the path, although it takes a lot of people off the path because it's uncomfortable. But genuinely, if you do it right, genuinely prepares you for more. And so I am here, or I have been here sharing this journey with you guys on the YouTube space. And so I hope it's been edifying to you. If you guys don't know me by now, my name is Samantha Lee. I have a channel on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and the YouTube called Love Samantha Lee. My name is not Love. It is Love Samantha Lee. But if you guys know me, you know everybody calls me Sam. All right. Lee family here. Call me Sam. With that being said, if you have not yet already, hit that subscribe button. We're posting content, I believe, almost every other day. And I believe it's content that is going to help you in this journey. This is the most transparent channel on any platform I've ever had. And I believe God has called me to be that way in this particular season, because there's downloads, spiritual downloads that I think are going to be helpful, not only in this season, but seasons to come. Because at some point, you are going to face a wilderness season. And I want you guys to be able to win it. And I want you guys to learn and glean from the things that I have learned from it. Okay, so that is what this is about. All right. For those of you guys who do not know already, I've been in a wilderness season. All right. Let's just take the cat out of the bag. God has been taking me through a process, and it started with a promise. And when I got the promise, I said, "Oh, I like that. That don't sound too bad. Tell me more." And with that came, "Oh, you like it. Let's go into a process." And what I've learned in this short amount of time, but long amount of time, that God does not promote without process. The enemy promotes without process because he wants you to squander it, self-destruct, in front of masses. That's what he desires. He does not desire for good people to win. It's just not, or God's people to win. No, that's not what he wants. He wants to promote you quickly, so you sabotage yourself, and then we have another Christian or fallen Christian that the world sees fall to destruction before people's eyes. I know that's not, look, I'm going left. Let me get back on track. But again, I've learned that when God gives you a promise, I don't care what the promise is, there's always a process. Okay. So when people say, "Oh, God told me I'm going to be here and I'm going to do this or I'm going to have that," if you are not in a process, God did not tell you that. Because every promise God gives us, he prepares us for it. That's the kind of God we serve, because he's a good father. He's a perfect father. And he would not be a perfect father if he did not prepare us for what is to come. So that is what the wilderness season is in. If you are in a wilderness season, you are in great company. Okay. Most people in the Bible had to go through a wilderness season. Most of the people that we talk about, the pioneers of our faith, went through wilderness season. So you're not in unfamiliar territory. Okay. You're in a territory where God is calling you, God has chosen you, God has called you. And he said, listen, I'm taking you through this, but this is for your good. And so for those who don't know what a wilderness season is when God isolates you from everything that has been a crutch, everything that's been a distraction, everything that you could find yourself prioritizing over spending time with God. God removes those things as much as he possibly can, isolates you so that you learn how to have a one-on-one relationship with him without any distractions. He wants you to know how to hear his voice. He wants you to grow in discernment. He wants you to grow in the spiritual giftings that you need in order to acquire the next level that God is preparing for you. Okay. He can't promote you without it. So if you decide to squander this time, if you decide to not honor the season that you are in, and you decide to go to your old faithfuls and say, this is uncomfortable, I'm going to go back to what I know, you could potentially miss your opportunity to enter into the promised land. And the promised land is where purpose lives. That's the reason why you've been created. What we do, what we make money is that's not what we were made to do. That's what we do to make money. We were created for a purpose. And that's bigger than your job. That's what you do to pay the bills. That's not what you were created to do. And so I don't want anybody to miss purpose, because money without purpose is pointless. Just is. And so I come on here to tell you guys another story, another day in the life of Sam and God checking her. Okay. And I hope that you guys get something from this, because it definitely rocked me to the core. So y'all, let's just keep it real. I hinted to this on another live, but last week I did something that I normally have done. I've been doing it for years. Okay. I promoted for different brands. I enjoy having influencer deals and working with the companies I've been blessed to work with, that they see value in partnering with me. Like, that's really a beautiful thing. I don't take that for granted. I don't take it lightly. But in this season, God has called me out of those things. One of those things was my fitness thing. I was really, oh my gosh, love fitness. I work out constantly, y'all know. And I was taking a thing called peptides, and I was a partner with them. And God called me out of that during Lent. And then I also partner with somebody who does my hair, and I love getting my hair done. I love the posts. I think the posts kind of give, it's a different side. Y'all are used to me talking. Y'all are used to me, saying certain things and dropping knowledge or whatever I'm doing, right? Or whatever you consider what I'm doing. But that's a different post where I'm not speaking at all. You just see me, you see my hair, and hopefully you see me looking fly. Okay, that's just what it is. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. Now, both of those posts, peptides and hair posts, were different kinds of posts. They were different than the other content that I did. And for a season, that was okay. But it hit me last Friday. God was calling me out of one of those influencer deals, or influencer partnerships, whatever you want to call it. And y'all, that was hard for me. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was struggling with God about it, because I didn't understand it. I've enjoyed those things. I've enjoyed those posts, of course. And I just felt like God very strongly was calling me out of it. And I know you guys are like, okay, well, Sam, why is this important? Because sometimes when God calls us out of things, we don't really understand why, because they're not inherently bad. They're good things, but they're not God things. A lot of times it's things that we might be good at, might be things that, benefit us in some way, shape, or form. It's not sinful, it's not bad, but it's not, God is calling you out of it and you're confused. And y'all, I went through that. I'm like, God, but why? Like, what's wrong with, like, I went back and forth with this post, y'all. I put it up and it's normal, it's what I've been doing for years. And for whatever reason, that particular Friday, it didn't feel right. Didn't feel right. And I'm over here going back and forth, like, God, okay, what's the problem? Like, why? I'm not showing anything. I'm being, cautious about that. Just really being way more strategic, way more mindful. And I'm like, okay, God, I'm giving up all this stuff. And y'all, again, the sacrifices are worth it. We're going to get to that. The sacrifices, every act of obedience I have taken has been worth it. God has made it worth it. But in the moment of the sacrifice, I do not know why. Every single time. And I know a lot of people, they may be struggling with giving certain things up because they're not inherently bad and you don't really understand why God is calling you out of it. But it's not for you to understand. His ways are higher than your ways. His thoughts are higher than your thoughts. And so in this time frame, as I've been, making sacrifices, and it's been easier for me to kind of let go of things and be like, okay, God, I'm letting that go. Okay. You want me to stop? I'm gonna stop that. You want me to stop? Okay, I'll stop that. Okay, you want me to? I'll stop it. It's been easier to let go. If he tells me to give, I give. If he tells me to move, I move. If he tells me to give it up, I give it up. If he tells me to go in this direction, do it. Okay. I've gotten into a rhythm of, I'm so connected to him in a way I haven't been, that I'm hearing his voice louder, so I know what he's telling me. But number two, I'm connected to him in a way I've never been connected to him. And the connection that I have with him is so fulfilling that I don't want to do anything to compromise it. I'm afraid of not being connected to him. It's not even like, oh, I think he's going to do this or he's going to do that. Sometimes, yes, I have a healthy fear of the Lord. God can do anything. He can knock anybody off any pedestal. He's God. He is sovereign. He is almighty. And if you don't do what he wants you to do, he will find a way to get you to do what he wants you to do. He going to make his way very attractive in 2.7 seconds if you don't prioritize him. That's just what God is. God is just, he's God. Right? And so I feel so connected to him. I'm doing these things. And so as I'm making sacrifices, they don't always make sense. In fact, in the moment, they never make sense. I don't understand it in the moment. In fact, y'all, I've had epiphany moments where I'm like, a month later, I understand why God told me to stop this. A month and a half later, I have a dream. Something said to me, and I'm like, oh. But everything God has called me out of, there has been purpose. And so as I'm battling with God about this post, and I'm going back and forth, I'm like, God, I don't understand. Like, I've been doing this for years. Like, what's the problem? That morning, y'all, I wake up at a time. The time basically is God checking me. I don't remember the exact verbiage, but it was God checking me. And I knew he was checking me about the post. I knew it. And so I come back, I take my daughter somewhere, I come back and I delete it. As I've deleted it, I'm struggling with God. I'm like, I don't get this. I don't understand this. I don't get what you're doing. Like, why do I have a conviction about this? Like, why I'm just going back and forth, coming up with every rationale as to why this is not that bad. And as I go to delete it, I'm seeing how well, how the post did, everything like that. That also kind of makes it harder. But I knew that if that was the reason why I would keep it, I knew that was not God. So I was like, I got to delete it. So like I said, I deleted it. And I'm struggling and I'm going back and forth. I call a woman that is a friend of mine that is in the faith, and I'm venting to her about it. And she doesn't really understand why God asked me to do it either. But she also knew that based upon what I was saying, it was obviously God that was telling me to do it. So it was like, got to do it. I'm like, you're right, I do. But I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm giving this up. I'm giving that up. I don't get it. Why, God? Like, these are not bad things. I'm just going through and I realized that in that moment, it was deeper. It was deeper than a post. It was deeper than all of that. That my feelings associated to it was more about where I had found my identity. That I have been stripping layers off of me in this time, y'all, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It feels like breaking. God is calling me out of this, calling me out of that, and it's breaking. But every day that I give up something, give up whatever He's called me to give up, when He calls me to give it up, I feel a little bit more free. I don't understand it in the moment, and I fight in the moment. Like God the other day called me to do something on my way to work, and I'm like, I'm running late. I don't know, blah blah blah. Like, okay, if this place is on the way, I'll stop. Well, y'all, as soon as I say that, there's one right there. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll stop. I stopped. I went, and y'all, it made sense. I wasn't really that late. There wasn't, like all these things that I had created in my mind. Well, the enemy inserts thoughts to make me feel like I'm in a frenzy. I'm rushing. I'm pushing it. God, why are you telling me to do this? Okay, well, fine. I'll do it. I see it on the way. I'm just going to be obedient and go. When I went, I understood why. It was inconvenient. It was out of place. It's funny because I woke up at a time that meant inconvenient. But anyway, inconvenient, out the way, or I thought I was out the way because I was running behind. But God placed it in my way. I got to the place and I understood why God did it. There was a reason for why He had me stop. There was a reason for it all. That y'all, in this wilderness season, in order to successfully navigate the wilderness season, to get to the other side, you have to be willing to let go of the why. You have to be willing to let go of, God, I don't understand that. I don't want to do this. Because some of that fight back, there's something that you can learn about you in the fight back. Like me and struggling with why He was asking me to stop posting this, or why, because I had attached my identity to these things, to what I look like, and my physical appearance, my hair, my body, all these different things. And I was receiving validation from those things. And because I had improperly placed my validation in the hands of people versus the hands of my Creator, where people are up and down and they've got different things to say every other day, God is saying, no, I need you to put your validation in my hands. And later it will be my husband's hands, where the world don't need to see it, but me and him know what's going on. Me and him know what's up. That when you put your hands in the validation of people, you will always be tap dancing for the applause. You've given them that kind of power. And I'm asking you to take it back. That you don't even realize. You don't even realize how much power you've given people. I didn't. So when I reflected and I look back at the post and I look back at the entire situation, I realized that the reason why when you have that, there's times where God calls me to do stuff, I don't feel anything about it. I'm like, okay, I have peace about it. But there's times where I know it's God, because it's not me, it's not the enemy. The enemy wouldn't tell me this. The enemy, I wouldn't tell me this. So it's got to be God. That's my process of elimination. And lines of scripture, it's like, okay, well, that's obviously God. And when I have that struggling, I know that God is getting at something deeper than that. He's not so much concerned about the fruit. He's more concerned about the root. What is that root? Is it because you've never felt like you were good enough? And so now this helps you feel like you're good enough. Yeah, I'm honestly getting too honest right now, and it's making me uncomfortable. But I had to see that in every step of obedience where God is challenging me and calling me out of my comfort zone. God is not going to keep you in your comfort zone. In this wilderness season, you're going to be thrown out of the comfort zone. You're going to have to step on your ego, step on your pride, step on all the things that you thought made you you. You're going to have to be way more vulnerable than you desire to be. You're going to have to confront childhood and wounds from childhood. You're going to have to, all those things come to the surface. Why? Because he's trying to clean it off the top. The Bible talks about how when he cleans us up, it's like purifying gold, where they would heat up gold to purify it. They heat up gold. And when they heat up gold to a certain level, I think it's 7,000 degrees, the impurities rise to the surface. And what they do is wipe the impurities off the top. And they continue to heat it up and wipe it off the top. Heat it up, impurities rise it off the top. Heat it up, impurities rise to the top, wipe it off the top. Heat it up, impurities rise to the top, wipe it off. They keep doing that over and over and over again until the person that is heating up the gold and purifying the gold can look at the gold and see their reflection. Guys, this is exactly what this sanctification process is God saying, listen, I'm going to keep turning up the heat. I'm going to keep making you uncomfortable. And everything that rises up is an indication of something I'm trying to heal. Every time that something is brought up in this time is for me to clean you up so that you are able to handle the mantle that I've created you to carry. That Joseph could not handle being second in command of Egypt when he first got the dream, the indication that he was going to be a powerful figure that his brothers would later have to bow down to. It all happened, but he did not have the character to handle the mantle at the time he had the dream. That God is saying to you today, some of y'all have a dream and some of y'all have a promise, and you're unwilling to submit to process because it doesn't make sense to you. And I'm here to tell you that as I was posting those things, or I was connected to these things, whatever, I've realized that it's much deeper than just a daggone post. It's deeper than being an influencer for this, that, and the. It's like, okay, Sam, how do you define you? How have you always defined you? I'm trying to, this definition I'm renovating. Is reconstruction. We knocking it all down. We doing it all over again. Because I didn't create you to just be that. I didn't create you to just be in that box. I didn't create you to tap dance for people to like this or that. I didn't create you to find your value or your worth in them. That is actually an insult to me. That's God speaking to me. It's an insult. And as I sat with it, I had so much peace about it once I understood what God was saying. That ultimately, in the wilderness season, the steps of obedience are so important. They're imperative. You can prolong your wilderness season by not being obedient. You can make a 11-day journey turn into 40 years. You can do it. You can do that by defaulting to your old ways and going to what everybody else is doing in culture and not what everybody's doing in kingdom. You can do that. You can choose that, but you're choosing to settle. Because any way that isn't God's is settling. I've learned that. Any way that isn't God's is it's inferior. His ways are exceedingly abundantly above all that we could ever ask, think, or imagine. Our ways are what we see. And that's settling. God has greater. He does. And if you're obedient to his process, if you're obedient to the baby steps that he asks, he don't make you take giant leaps. That's the enemy. If you hear giant leaps, it's baby steps. There's going to be a leap where it feels like a leap, but it's a baby step. Okay, reach out. Ooh, I don't do that, God. Ooh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? It's like, there's a baby step, but it's stretching you. It's making you uncomfortable. Why? Because he understands that you having this guard up is not only keeping people out or keeping you protected, should I say. It's keeping people out. The very thing you might desire connection, but you've got this guard up. And so the connection you actually desire, you're keeping yourself from. You put yourself in your own platinum prison. And God's like, in order for me to get you to where you need to go and to do the things that I've caused you to do and to create the legacy that I have for your line, I need you to let me knock that thing down. The walls of Jericho got to get knocked down. And in order for that to happen, I need you to be obedient. Because y'all, in this process, every baby step of obedience has gotten me to a place with God that I've never experienced. And y'all, when I tell you something recently happened, I've been waiting for years, just happened out of nowhere. All why? Because of baby steps of obedience. God was like, okay, now you're ready for that now you're at a place where you can handle that being what that is. You couldn't do that before. I had to take you through this process, and now I'm letting you get to this side. Obedience, is it challenging? Yes. But is it worth it? Absolutely. Because the things that I have seen unfold in this time, the ways that I hear God, the signs, the wonders, the miracles, the flat out miracles, they far exceed any complication I had by just doing what God called me to do. Be obedient, family. We think that being obedient is like, oh, this is hard. I don't like this. Obedience is actually good. I mean, it literally is what's best for you. Our flesh does not want what's best for us. You ever see 600-pound life, y'all? You will know that your body fights you to stay the same, even if you're 600 pounds, because it does not like change. Like the very thing that would heal you, your body is fighting to do, because it likes being comfortable. Your body, whether it's good for you or not, doesn't like being uncomfortable. And in order for you to reach the promised land, in order for you to carry the mantle, in order for you to get to the place that God has caused you to be, to create the legacy, to be the generational curse breaker you were meant to be, you have to surrender to process. And the process does not have to make sense to you. And if it's uncomfortable, you're in it right. You're doing it the right way. Be uncomfortable. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if God is calling you to do it, do it. I know it doesn't make sense to you. I know it feels like this is not me. I don't do this. Exactly. That's why you should do. That's even more of a reason why you should do it. God is not ever calling you to do things to make a fool out of you. That is not his thing. He is, you can trust him. We put people's character on God. People have failed us. People have lied to us. People have misled us. That is not the character of our God. He cannot lie. He does not change his mind. That if God is calling you to do, don't you know he's the creator of the universe? Don't you know he knows the beginning from the end? If he's calling you to it, I promise you he gonna get you through it. Living proof. Family, be obedient. Don't allow anything to take you from that. I don't care what it feels like. Push through. I don't care what it looks like. Push through. And when I say push through, I'm not saying defaulting to your worldly wisdom. I'm saying being obedient to the last thing God called you. Not doing all these other things. Not trying to make it make sense to you. No. Be obedient to the last thing he told you, and just keep being consistent with that. And if he calls you to do something different and it makes you feel uncomfortable and you've got to struggle with him, that's him. And you know it's not your voice, not the enemy's voice. It's got to be God. Go with it. The enemy's voice will rush you, push you, confuse you, condemn you, shame you. It literally leaves a negative taste in your mouth. It will cause you to puff up in pride. That's what the enemy's voice does. Our voice, you know what your voice sounds like. God's voice is going to come with clarity, is going to come with peace, but it a lot of times ain't gonna make sense to you. You have to spend time in the secret place for him to make it make sense to you. And I'll talk about that on future podcasts about how that happens and what to do to hear. How do you hear from God? What do you do with that? What is that? What prayer do you pray? We'll talk about that in a future one. But right now, I want to hone in on obedience, because without being obedient, you won't hear God. I mean, fully obedient. The more obedient you are, the clearer God will be, and the faster this season will go, and the quicker you get to your promised land. So family, again, if there's some resistance within you, look into it. Why do I feel this way? Why does this bother me so much? Why am I fighting this? Is it because you find your identity in that very thing? And God's like, no, I want you to find your identity in me. This is unstable. This goes up and down. I'm consistent. I will always see you the same way. That you are fearfully and wonderfully made. But what you're trying to find your identity in, if it's anything outside of me, it's inconsistent. It's unstable. I'm trying to present you with something that lasts, and that it will last always. Because he's an eternal God, and he is sovereign, and he does know what's best. He knows the end from the beginning, or the beginning from the end, excuse me. All right, family. I love you guys. I hope this was edifying to you. I hope this helps you. Be obedient. Be obedient. Watch what God does. Watch what he does. Watch how he transforms you. Watch how he transforms your entire lineage from the choices you're making today. I love you guys. And I will see you guys soon. And that's a wrap. If this episode spoke to you, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, or leave a review wherever you're listening. Let's keep the convo going. Connect with me on all socials. Remember, real beauty starts with you being true to yourself. I love you, family, and I'll see you soon.